Okay. Once you've realized that you have a money block in your subconscious, and then you figured out what your specific block or blocks are, there's one more step to go. You need to release a specific block to make room in your subconscious for a positive money belief. Now, I do that using EFT or tapping, and I will show you a simple way to do that here, 2 simple ways actually. But first, before we get into that, you need to identify one of your money blocks to tap on. Okay, just one. Don't try to do 5 and do them all at once. It doesn't work. You have to do one at a time. So you can identify as many as you want, but here we're going to identify one so that we can tap on it now. So let's do that. There are many ways to uncover your blocks. We're going to use a couple here. When you get the block that you want to work on, just write it down, okay? You may already know what it is. Maybe it's something you hear yourself say a lot, like, I can never get ahead, something like that. Maybe it's something your parents said, and as I was talking about family blocks, you heard it, like, oh, well, rich people are all crooks, or something like that. Maybe it's something you heard earlier when I was describing the different kind of blocks, and it rang some bells. And you can go back and watch that part of the video again and see what blocks come up for that. Now, if you have one of those, write it down. If you don't have one, don't panic. You can take a look at this list of common ones and choose one that seems to have some oomph to it for you. So here they are. Money is dirty. It's not safe to have more money. I can't be rich and be a good person. I'm not good with money. I shouldn't charge more. If I had more money, it would be disloyal to, and then there's a blank there. So you got to fill that in. It would be disloyal to dad, to mom, to grandma, to your sister, your husband. Sometimes a husband comes in there for these ones. People in my family don't make a lot of money. People in my family don't have a lot of money. And I have to work too hard to make more money. So here's some examples that you can use. If any of those have an oomph, just choose that one now to go through the rest of this process with us here. Okay. Once you have the one that you're going to work on, and pause the video if you need to. Okay. Once you have it and you've written it down, it's time to rate it. Here's how you do that. You're going to say it out loud, and then you're going to give it a rating from 0 to 100% for how powerful it felt when you said it. Not how true it is, not how much you believe it, none of that. We're only measuring how powerful it feels. That's how I have some sort of access to what's going on in your subconscious, okay? So 0% would mean there's nothing there. I don't feel anything. So move on, find a different one and rate that. 100% would be like so powerful, it probably does feel true for you. And I found there's like 3 ways to get your numbers. Okay. One could be that you have an emotional reaction when you say it. Money is dirty. Ugh. I feel disgust. Like, oh yeah, that's 63% powerful. So then you write down your number, 63% next to money is dirty. That's what you're working on. Maybe you don't get the emotional reaction, but you get a physical reaction. Whoa, that's like a sock in the gut. Yep, 77%. So then you'd write down 77% next to whatever it is that you were reading. You might be like me. I don't have either the emotional or the physical reaction. I just have a number pop in my head. And I've learned to trust that. It feels a little like I'm making it up, but I have learned that it works. So I'll just say, okay, well, I can't be rich and be a good person. Interesting. That's about 84%. Then, so you get the number pop up, you write it down. So whichever way you get your numbers, go ahead, pause this video, say your statement out loud, and give it that rating 0 to 100% for how powerful it feels. Write it down. Okay. So now you've got the one block you're going to work on, and you have given it a rating. And this is after you recognize you had a money block. That's step 1. But you recognize you had a money block. You figured out what the one block is that you're going to work on, gave it a rating. And now you are set up to do this next thing. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to tap on that statement you have. I'll use money is dirty, but you're going to use the one that you have, okay? So whenever I say money is dirty, you're going to replace it with the one that you have while we're tapping. Okay, so how you tap, if you've never tapped before, you take a couple fingers and you tap. You start on the side of your hand on your little finger between the knuckle and the wrist, that fleshy part there. You're tapping about as hard on all of these points as if you were drumming your fingers on a tabletop. So you're not whiffing it, but you're not leaving a bruise either. It's just solid. Okay, so you tap, and I'll show you these points quickly, but you're going to tap with me while we go through this point. This two different ways to tap. Then you tap where one of your eyebrows starts, side of your eye, under your eye, between your nose and your lip, right under your lip there on that line on your chin. You make a fist for the next one, and with the flat part of your knuckles, you tap where a man would knot his tie. That's your collarbone spot. Then you take all four fingers and go about 4 inches down from your armpit. And finally, you tap at the very top of your head. And I will not be tapping really on some of these points. I'll just be indicating them because I have a microphone, and if I tapped, it would be deafening on the video. So, okay. All right, so here's the simplest way you can possibly do this tapping on it, okay? So start with me. Now repeat your statement when I do this, okay? Even though I have a subconscious belief, money is dirty, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have a block, money is dirty. I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I've got a block here. And that block says money is dirty. I deeply and completely accept myself. Money is dirty. Money is dirty. Money is dirty. Okay, we're saying it pretty straight. You can really get into it and give it some emotional oomph if you're feeling it, because that'll be good, because that tapping can release that too. Money is dirty. 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 Okay, take a nice deep breath in and let it out slowly. All right, that was a single round where all you did was you started on the side and you said, even though I've got this block, I deeply and completely accept myself. And you say the block where I say block. Okay, even though I have this block, I deeply and completely accept myself. And then you go around the points, and at each point you say the block. Money's dirty, or I'm not a good person if I have money, whatever it is, okay? You say it at each point, and you're whittling away bit by bit by bit at that statement, that block. All right, let me teach you a second way that's very simple for you to use some tapping on your money blocks as you uncover them, okay? Let's use a different one. I'm sick of money is dirty. How about, all right, it's not safe to have more money. Okay. So you're going to start out pretty much the same way. So you're tapping on the side of your hand. Tap with me now. It'll make it easier for you as you learn this. What did I say I was going to do? Even though part of me believes it's not safe to have more money. And again, you're using the same block you had before. I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have a block, it's not safe to have more money. I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have a subconscious block here. And it says it's not safe to have more money. I deeply and completely accept myself. It's not safe to have more money. Well, that's not true. No, it's not safe to have more money. But that's ridiculous. Of course it's safe to have more money. No, it's not safe to have more money. It is safe to have more money. It might even be safer because I'll have more resources. No, it is not safe to have more money. Well, that's just bullshit. Okay, take a deep breath in and out again. Okay, yes, I swore there. Actually, swearing lights up a different part of your brain from the language centers that can be useful in tapping. But if you're not comfortable doing it, you do not need to swear. Okay, that point, we started out the same way. Even though I have this block, I deeply and completely accept myself. Saying it 3 times. And you put in your block. And then going around the points. And the first point is say the block straight. It's not safe to have any money. The second point, you refute that. You say, no, wait, that's not true. And then you go back and say it again. Nope, it's not safe to have more money. And then maybe you come up with a different reason why that's ridiculous. Or just say, that's just ridiculous. And then you go around back and forth. And you can do it simpler than I did. You can just say, it's not safe to have more money. Of course it's safe to have more money. It's not safe to have more money. Of course it's safe to have more money. And you can say the positive instead of the negative. And that should be enough to sort of shake things up in your brain. All right, we've done two rounds on this. Go ahead and take a look at your block now. Read it out loud again. And now give it that 0 to 100% rating for how powerful it feels this time. I'll give you a second. Okay. Now I hope you wrote down your first number, and now you write down your second number. And this was very simple tapping. It may not have led to much change yet. Hopefully it's come down a bit, and that shows you that just doing this kind of simple tapping will bring it down. You do enough of it, it may bring it all the way down. You might also want to have somebody to work with who can really dig into some of the causes for the subconscious block and release them and refute them. So today, the word of the day is refute. Okay, so this is a basic way to get rid of your subconscious money blocks. First of all, recognize that you have a money block. Second, identify a specific money block. Then release it using some simple tapping. And there might be more blocks. You might have to do this process more than once to free up your money and start letting it flow in more, or be able to hold on to it, or even let yourself spend it. So the next time you feel stuck in your business, like the clients I've told you about, realize it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have a rule or a belief or a fear that you internalized in your subconscious, and it's playing now. And you can change it. So what would you like your business to look like? What would it look like if your subconscious didn't hold you back, but partnered with you in your success? Happy tapping.